my quilt nerdery was in full swing, and I'm like working on something. And then I saw this thing and I was like, ugh. And I knew that my discovery of this thing needed to halt in like mid-discovery. And I needed to share it with you. And so I'm going to share it with my fellow quilt nerds. Hey, Padma. Oh, Padma. Oh, God. I mean, I am. This is not planned. This was not planned. This is kind of an experiment. I had the urge to come on, okay? I had the need to come on. And when you see what I'm going to show you, you will be like, oh, okay, yeah. I mean, I do not, anyway, there's always this, what I was saying before people came in, and who knows who will come in, because who knows who's getting notifications. And I'm not usually streaming on a Monday. But what I was saying is I found this thing, and it's so crazy and weird and like ridiculous, quilt related, of course, that I was like, Eric, and I ran into, I was like, just click on this link, just do it. And and Eric, who's like understated all the time, he's like, wow, ooh. And so I'm like, well, I can investigate this thing that I just discovered, or I can like go live and investigate it. And I was saying that like once you're a live streamer, like I think the platforms want you to like stream all the time and like stream randomly, because there's a button on my apps, on all my apps, that's like go live. And like I'm at the grocery store, I'm like, I'm not going live, but I think that's like what they want you to do, is go live all the time. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just like doing it. I don't, what am I don't know what to do. Okay, Carol. Oh my God, thank God you're here. Carol, everything's going to be fine because you're here. So obviously this is urgent, okay? I have not prepared for this. I was not prepared for this. But I'm going to show you what I just discovered here's what I was doing. I have a gig tomorrow for the Quilters Guild of the British Isles. It's no small deal. I mean, I've done many gigs in my life. I've done big ones, but like, I gotta come correct on this gig, It's like it's a big group of people, okay? And I'm giving my lecture on myths in the American quilt story, right? Because we believe a lot of things that are just like not true, And I'm not out to like set the record straight, but I'm just out to like give it more information about what happened, whatever. Come to the lecture. Join the Quilt Guild of the British Isles. Okay, so Naflinster, yeah, pleasant for now. Just okay. So anyway, so I'm researching. Well, my lecture is ready and all that, but I'm polishing up my slides for this big gig tomorrow. Okay, getting things polished up. I'm actually transferring all my slides to a new program, really getting them nice and great. And I'm looking for something. Okay, now I'm gonna start showing you. This is not planned. This is like one of those moments where I'm like, well, I stream live, so now why don't I just stream live this thing that I have discovered? And I mean, on Quilt Nerd, we have a lot of experiences together. And I pull things together, and I'm like, I've never read this thing. We're going to read it together. I've never seen this quilt. We're going to read it together. Tonight, this is like, just get ready, okay? Get ready. I don't even know how I got here. Well, I was looking for pictures of quilts of Gee's Bend, okay? The famous quilts of Gee's Bend. And I don't know. I don't know how it happened. But I found that Nicole Richie is selling quilts from Gee's Bend, or I don't know yet. So you see, that's the thing. I'm going to discover this with you. All I know is I found this, and there's a video, and I don't even know my life right now. Okay, you ready? Really. Okay, let's go like this, and let's see. Yeah. All right, you ready? Okay, volume. Listen, we talked about G's Ben recently. We talked about how I think Ralph Lauren's son or something is doing a thing with G's Ben quilters who live in G's Bend, who, you know, and there's clothes that are available at Bergdorf Goodman. And I think it was Faith, right? One of our quilt nerds in our community. It's amazing. She was like, don't jump to conclusions. The deal that Ralph Lauren's son has struck with like these quilt makers, in this historic place of like quilt making in America, let's hope they got a good deal, and they're like, this is a good thing for them. And I'm like, yes. And we all agreed. It was like, yeah, like, let's hope this was a really good, business like opportunity for these people who have historically been, completely taken advantage of by, capitalism. I mean, remember, my whole thing on this show and just in general, just tell the truth. It's not my opinion. It's not my like, here's the way the world ought to be kind of stuff. Like, I just bring you some information and we talk about the truth of what happened. And in the past, folks in G's Bend who have made quilts for generations have been cheated out of money by white people who, see the value in their work, but it's kind of slimy, right? Okay, that's just a fact. That's just it, okay? That's it. So I'm like, well, I hope that this is great. I hope this is a great arrangement. But Nicole Richie? So this is as far as I got. This quilt is 5. Are you with me? I don't even know who's here. Hey, everybody. So, and like I said, this was unplanned, but it was a moment where like life and live streaming converged. And I was like, what is happening? Like, I'm going to go live and figure it out, So, I put on lipstick. That was the most I did for this moment. Diobeb. Oh my God. I mean, Blobfish. Thank you. The green screen. Okay, that's what I did. I was like, I'm going live. And it was like, pull up the green screen. Lipstick. Let's do this, So it's Ralph Lauren's nephew. Okay, thank you. Joyous Fibers. I'm so glad that you're here. Okay, so I don't know what's happening, right? So now we're going to figure this out. And just like last time, oh God, I mean, really? Well, that's like a weird, the photo isn't working. I just, Nicole Richie? So now we have to go explore, you guys, because I need to know more. I need to know more about why Nicole Richie in her robe is like equating herself with like the makers of the object that she's selling for $5,000, okay? And again, I don't know, okay? So let's discover what's going on. But House of Harlow, which I like vaguely knew. I was like, what is House of Harlow? What is this? So hold on, let me just think for a second, okay? I ran and told Eric, I'm like, oh, what's going on? And he's like, he was on his computer. He's like, clackety, clackety, clack. He's like, oh, she's in an article on the Etsy blog or something. And I was like, okay, great. And this is from October. I was like, when did it happen? Is it like 3 years ago? Did I miss it? He's like, October. I'm like, oh, shit. That's last month. Oh, it's great. This is great. Oh, this is great. This is great. I'm so glad you're here. Okay. I mean, look at this. Nicole Richie launches a holiday collection with Etsy. Shop the House of Harlow 1960 collab. Again, might be good. And you know what the thing is? So October 20th, 2021, not a month ago. Oh, this isn't anything. We don't have images. Okay, forget it. Sorry. I told you I'm not prepared. I'll find the goods. Whenever I get real strident about something, I usually regret it. So just let it be known. I don't know what's up yet. So I might eat craw. Might eat my hat. Okay, blog. Yeah, here we go. if it's a good thing, it's great. It's weird. It's super weird. But it might be good. So I'm going to read some of this to you. Again, haven't read it for myself, and I don't like having like images like this up on. I don't like having images of Nicole Richie with no quilts in sight. So this is from the Etsy blog. Quilts are not mentioned. I'm seeing in the headline. Neither are any of the quilt makers or the quilts mentioned in the headline. Whatever. This is from the Etsy blog. I'm usually a fan of like having a web page like on my monitor and showing you like luscious images of whatever we're talking about up on your screen. But you know what? This is guerrilla live streaming. I couldn't do it. Okay. We're thrilled to reveal the holiday edition of our House of Harlow 1960. What do you mean 1960? What does that mean? I mean, quilt makers in Gee's Bend were making quilts in 1960. By the way, they were, this is the quilt nerd moment, okay? The Freedom Quilting Bee was active in the 1960s. I don't know exactly what year it started because I don't want to get it wrong. I don't want to guess. Early 60s, okay? Freedom Quilting Bee was making quilts that they sold at Sears and like Sears and Neiman Marcus, maybe Bloomingdale's, okay? So like anyway, that's a nerd moment, and I just want to point out that in the 1960s the Freedom Quilting Bee was doing their thing, but the Freedom Quilting Bee, unlike the quilters at Gee's Bend, had like, well, they had their own collective, but the Gee's Bend, okay, anyway, there's the Souls Grown Deep Foundation. Okay, I just, let me pull it back. If you don't know what I'm talking about, like in terms of being a quilt nerd, you just saw it happen, and you should come to the regular show 3 times a week and see me in a slightly less agitated state. Slightly. Okay. So House of Harlow 1960 creator collaboration filled with unique handmade pieces, designed with holiday entertaining and gifting in mind. Quote, I've been known to go all out when it comes to the holiday season. Fascinating. Sorry, says Nicole. Unquote. Into co-designing this collection, quote again. In co-designing this collection, I wanted to create gifts. I wanted to create gifts that would make people feel truly special, and decor pieces that bring holiday into any space, whether you're celebrating with family and friends or simply lounging by the fire. Unquote. Fine. That's fine. I want that. Okay, so inspired by 70s luxe and glamorous rock and roll spirit. Cool. Okay. A thrilling addition to this season's collection is the skillful stitching of 8 members of the Gee's Bend Quilters. But is it the Gee's Bend Quilters or is it the Souls Grown Deep Foundation? Anyway, I have questions. Maybe that's right. I don't know. The renowned community of rural female quilters from Alabama, using dead stock fabric supplied by House of Harlow 1960. Okay. This talented group of artists designed a stunning capsule of elaborate one-of-a-kind quilted blankets. Don't call them quilted blankets and ornate wall hangings. Ornate. Each with their own personal touch. Oh my God, I got to catch up on the chat. Giving shoppers a chance to own a piece of American history. Quote, being able to work with the Gee's Bend Quilters was an incredible experience, and each maker brought their own personal touch and skill to bring these quilts to life, shares Nicole. My parents are from Alabama. Interesting, which has been a second home to me. Interesting. It was an honor to get to work with artisans from a place so close to my heart and history. Okay, unquote. Interesting. All right. She's from Alabama. She's from Alabama? Her parents from Alabama. Okay. It's been a second home to her. Look at her. The regal Alabamian. So I just want to go back. So where are the quilts? Here are the quilts. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about, let's talk about the video. I want to talk about the video. Oh yeah. Okay, we got a video. So if you just joined, okay, hang on. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. So I don't know how to position this impromptu episode of Quilt Nerd. If I say it's educational, can I play this and like react to it and not get a copyright strike? Or if I say it's commentary, you know, or like entertainment, I want to watch this with you. And so if I do, and we're going to, I think it's important that I stop and talk about it enough that I make transformative content. I think that's the thing that I have to do. So I'm going to interrupt it, and it's a minute. It's a minute long. So you're just going to have to deal with it. Also, I also think that this impromptu episode of Quilt Nerd is the first time that I'm broadcasting at the same time on YouTube that I am on Twitch, because I think I finally figured that out. So that's interesting. So anybody who's on YouTube who's never seen the show that's been going on for like 3 months is going to be like, this is weird, but it's also kind of like, well, anyway, it's kind of normal. But from now on, the shows are going to be broadcast on Twitch and YouTube. Before I play this video, let me catch up in the chat. Okay. Natalie's here, Padma's here, Carol's here, Naflinster's here. Yes, Diobeb is here. Blobfish is here. I'm so glad you're here. Joyous Fibers. It's like hot off the press, man. Nicole Richie. I think you see how I feel. Susan Michael. What's up? What is up indeed? New Elizabeth. I know it's Nicole Richie. She mostly sells jewelry. Yeah, I mean, and maybe she's amazing. Maybe she's amazing. Beasley Richard. Hey, Beasley Richard. Yeah, MTV Cribs, right? Why is it called House of Harlow? New Elizabeth, you know, a nerd like par excellence, right? The quilt nerd par excellence. Googled, why is it called House of Harlow, 1960. Image result for why does Nicole Richie use 1960 in her brand Harlow. Nicole Richie is a fashion designer who specializes in jewelry. Beasley Richard, you were all over that. Her jewelry line, House of Harlow 1960, okay, is named after her daughter Harlow. Okay, now things make sense. The jewelry is very costume-like and vintage-inspired, hence the year 1960 in the title of the label. Harlow, I mean, Jean Harlow is what I think of, which is probably part of what inspired her to name her daughter Harlow. But Jean Harlow was not a star in the 1960s. I'm just saying, did they do a focus group? Okay. Wow, Joyous Fibers says just this morning, CBS anchors agreed quilting was a dying art. Oh, really? They're so up on like what's happening in the quilting world. So it's really good that they said that, because we really need to pay attention to what they say. Those CBS anchors, I mean, they have their fingers on the pulse. Really? Like, really? Have you seen all of the people wearing coats that have been cut from like, you know, exquisite antique quilts? They're all the rage. Don't get me started. Don't worry, everybody. I'm not going to go on that again. I'm not. Not this time. Stop cutting quilts apart to make clothes. Just please stop. We're good now. It's cool. You can do it for a while, but just stop now. Okay? Will you stop? Thanks. Fancy. Yeah, Carol Hempel's like, I'm not into MTV Cribs. Of course. I mean, like, yeah, that's not surprising. Okay. Commentary like this is fair use. Agreed. Eat her code. Oh my God. It's good to see you. Elaine from San Francisco. It's freely available on YouTube. Okay, great. It's okay. I'm so glad that you're here. This is super random. It's super random. All right, here we go. Myra, hi. Okay. We're all dying as we create our art. Exactly. Okay, here we go. Let's just watch. Let's just see what happens. What is Nicole Richie doing with Quilters from G's Ben? Maybe it's amazing. This is from Etsy. Okay. Let me make sure everybody can hear this. I'm watching this with you. This is a live react. What's going on? What? Oh, sorry. Oh, here we go. Okay. No. What's happening?
Pins around the world.
G's Ben's.
All right.
Early 1920s, the renowned G's Ben community has hand-sewn quilts shown in museum collections around the world.
G's Ben is purely quilts. These are masterpieces. They're also useful masterpieces. Every last one, whether we like it or not.
What's so special about these quilts that I love is that we decided to work with House of Harlow dead stock fabric. When
Legit.
you open...
Okay, that's super legit. I'm into it. Pause. Yeah, okay, cool. Upcycling, reusing, great. The makers are on camera talking about the thing. That's great. Okay, it's great. It's cool. I'm just dubious because historically this has not gone well for the people who make the stuff. Okay. Oh, I see what's happening. Okay, when I hit spacebar, it mutes it. All right.
House of Harlow has been and where it is now.
House of Harlow brought us all this fabulous different materials that we've never worked with before. I'm loving the idea of being able to present something totally new, totally different from the normal style of G's band.
I think it's very special when you are gift giving to make the person feel like you see them. And
totally aside from anything else, I mean, is it cringe to you, or is it just, I don't know. I feel gross. That's all I can say. Remember, tell the truth, okay? My truth is that it just feels gross to me. Okay, all right. Let's just...
You really want the gift to feel personal.
I hope someone would buy the quilt and give it to somebody for a gift, somebody that they love and they know to take care of it. And maybe it could be passed down from generation to generation.
Mm-hmm. And it was a phenomenon. It was a blockbuster, okay? And this is a very long story. It's got lots of parts. There are a lot of people who are involved in this story and who continue to be involved in this story, okay? I'm not an expert, but I've done a fair amount of looking at this, phenomenon, right? And there's a piece of it that gets left out a lot, all right? And the piece of it that gets left out a lot is the Freedom Quilting Bee part. And in the 1960s, the Freedom Quilting Bee was this, collective of quilt makers in Alabama, in Boykin, Alabama, who were making quilts and making money for their families. And it was sort of this, sort of workable, working, functional way to bring money into their community. And then this idea that the G's Bend quilters are just this, they had no idea what they were doing when they were making quilts, and they just sort of got famous, without realizing they were making abstract art. I mean, there's just a lot to unpack with that story and a lot to clear up, in terms of whose story it is to tell, again, my role in the quilt world, like in the quilt ecosystem these days is just to I learn stuff, I share it, I try to tell the truth. Okay. So, that's what I'm doing here. And I've learned over the years that there's just a lot about the G's Bend story that folks get wrong. And one of the things I wanted to say and mention again, right? Well, I mentioned this at the Quilt Nerd show when we talked about this. And remember, this is like an impromptu episode. So usually I have crazy slides ready for you or crazy images ready for you. But one thing that I mentioned that was that kind of came up, right, with all of us who are quilt nerds who check this show out, or who make it, in the course of me. Bergdorf, Goodman, Loren, G's Bend. One of the things that kind of came up, I'm just going to pull up an image search here of this latest endeavor, okay? Fresher, newer, more recent than the Nicole Richie project, because I think this thing happened in maybe it happened the same month. I don't know. Ralph Lauren's nephew, all right, has employed quilt makers from G's Bend, is working with some of the quilt makers from G's Bend to make clothes. And there is, the clothes are available at Bergdorf Goodman. I got to get the chat back. Sorry, guys. So, you froze. Did I freeze? Oh no. Hey, Chris. Oh, hi, Chris. Okay, sorry. I gotta catch up on the chat. Kay is here. I'm so glad. Myra, hi. Susan. And Chris. Okay, Chris, Viva Waldorf. I'm so glad that you're here. I don't usually stream on Mondays, but this thing happened with Nicole Richie selling quilts from G's Ben, and I had to investigate it. And I was like, well, that's what I do on the show, Quilt Nerd. I just investigate quilts with everybody else live. I show you what I'm learning. I show you what I'm discovering. And when I discovered that Nicole Richie was selling quilts from G's Ben for $8,000. Did I mention that? That some of them are $8,000? I was like, well, either I'm going to save this for tomorrow's show, because every Tuesday we have a show at 11 a.m. Central. Either I'm going to save this and not look at it until tomorrow, or I'm just going to go live right now. So here I am. You sent me an Instagram about this? Oh, I never check those DMs. Okay, now use the Discord, Myra. I'm sorry. I get like, I freeze like with the social medias, and I'm over. So thank you, Myra, for catching it. Put it in the newswire on the Discord, and I will see it. And E. Turcotte says, what percent of the quilters receive? That's the question. And if they're receiving a great percentage, then all of my like is like totally null and void. And I can accept that if I'm like, what is this? This is an outrage. Like, I want to know more. And if what we find is that like Nicole Richie is cool, like we can hang with Nicole Richie, that's fine. That's fantastic. And all of my like will be completely deflated. And I would love that because I'm very tense. Carol Hempel. Carol Hempel coming in with that dry humor, dry like a desert. She's like, the only thing I ever liked about Nicole Richie was Lionel. Yeah. Okay, so Myra sees it. Myra's OG quilt nerd. So gross and cringy, she says. I instantly messaged you. Oh, I'm so sorry I missed it. Okay. I was frozen. I'm sure I was frozen in some awesome, like, facial expression. Crosley, hey Crosley. If you're gift giving something you made, it's personal, Crosley says. But that's not what's happening. Yeah, cringe here too a little. Again, we're going to find out, but like, wait till I show you more of this stuff. I mean, this stuff. Have you shopped at Bergdorf Goodman? No? Well, then you're like 99% of the people who are watching this show. Although I don't know your life. Maybe y'all are shopping at Bergdorf Goodman. That's cool. Be great. I like Bergdorf Goodman in theory. I've never been there. It's one of the fanciest, nicest department stores in the country. In the world, I would say. And so these clothes, okay, I'm going back to the chat, but these clothes that this man, okay, this nephew of Ralph Lauren is selling, it's a capsule collection, it's a small collection. I don't know if it's still there. I don't know if you can still get it. Is using, either the labor or the branding, whatever, of quilt makers from G's Bend. And the language of it, the language of the whole thing, seems to indicate that the quilt makers are getting all, it seems to, the way they put it is like the quilt makers are getting all of the money from this, but it's not quite what they say. What they say is like, resources are being put back into the community or something like that. And like, that could mean a lot of things, there could be a lot of hurdles to jump through, or there could be a lot of, pieces taken out for this or that. And I don't know if it was Myra or maybe it was Padma during the show when we talked about this element of this. Somebody was like, this whole like style shoot has a racist tone, or it's being very racist in that all of the people in the clothes are black, right? So it's sort of like the othering thing, and my, I'm not here to be a social justice warrior. I'm here to try to get to the truth of things. That's all, okay? And the truth of these pictures, it's plain that in every picture that's for the fashion, editors, I don't see people who appear to be white people, which is what it means is that the G's Ben quilts, which have been othered from other American quilts from the start, like it's still kind of putting them like into a different category, which some people might be okay with that. Some people might not be okay with that. It's up to you to decide how you feel about that. But it is true, right? Okay, that's what's happening in the pictures. Oh, Blobfish, I can talk about the quilt behind me. Yeah, I can totally talk about it. It's a great quilt. Hey, Sibby Mac. This is random, super random. G's Bend, each her quote says G's Bend has the name recognition now over Freedom Quilters Collective. Yeah, the Freedom Quilting Bee and the Soul's Grown Deep Foundation. These are both sort of like structural kind of, I assume nonprofit, I don't know, but the G's Bend Quilters is what people, understand those quilts to be, right? But the actual group that was making money for themselves, bringing money into the community in the 1960s was the Freedom Quilting Bee, and the Soul's Grown Deep Foundation is what's going on now, I think. Now remember, I discover this stuff along with you. I bring the knowledge that I have, and then we discover together. So this is not a lecture. This is not a demo. It's me being curious with you in real time. Okay. So Susan R. Michael says, quilt makers are the community. Non-quilt makers are outside our community. Interesting. Interior designers are curators of objects that they can upsell for lots of money because they have selected it for their collection, like Nicole Richie. By the way, if you've just arrived, I'm just pausing really quick because some people are like, what even is this? Because not only is this a show that I did not plan, I'm pretty sure it's the first show that's live streaming to YouTube at the same time, okay? I'm pretty sure. Hang on. I'm pulling this back up. Hang on. So Nicole Richie has started to sell G's Bend quilts. Nicole Richie. Okay. Yeah. All right. Sorry. For $8,000. Okay. Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. This is weird. This is new. Check that out. That's me. Look at that. Live. Quilt Nerd Quickie. Nicole Richie and G's Bend? ? Eric, I can see that I'm live when I'm live. This is very strange. All right, so let's take a look at this again. Let me just finish the chat and then this is a different video. Let's watch a different video about Nicole Richie selling quilts for her holiday collection. I just don't understand. Anyway, Susan, in her infinite wisdom, says, designers or curators, designers of home deck stuff, like Nicole Richie upsell these objects that they curate for lots of money because they have selected it for their collection, right? And the upper retail price tags don't typically trickle down. This is the case. Now you can say it may be true that Mr. Loren and Ms. Richie are awesome, and they finally have made an equitable deal with this historic, the people in this historic area of America who make quilts, in this particular area and have this lineage, and you can say, we don't know, and we don't know. But Nicole, and if it's Nicole Richie, if she's awesome, why is she in the ads? And why she's the brand. I get it. People know her name and people know Ralph Lauren's name, whatever. But anyway, Susan Michael also says most of her quilts are under $2,000. Yeah. Hey, M. Sue John. It's good to see you. Padma says, I hope G's Bend is in your future documentary. Oh, it is. Oh, and I'm just going to go. That's actually the documentary I want to make. If Hollywood is listening, please, I need a production studio. I really want to get started on this, on filming, because I want to get to talking to people who might not be around forever. Anyway, my plan for the whole show starts in the American South. The whole show begins in the American South. That's how it all starts. So yes, I will definitely be talking about quilts in the American South. And the quilts that are made in the Boykin, Alabama, G's Bend area are not the only quilts, if you will, that look like that, right? There are all kinds of quilts made by different groups of people, white people, black people, all kinds of people who have this sort of you know, they're sort of in that, they have that look or whatever, that oeuvre that look a little bit like that. So the story is just really good. It's really good, and it's really deep, and it's bigger and better than the one we're usually told. And that's all I want to do, is just like be like, hey, let's poke over here, let's poke over there, let's talk to that person, let's talk to this person, because quilts are so fantastic. They're so interesting. They're so much more than just pretty blankets. They are history, and they are people, and they are made by everybody, black, white, rich, poor, you know, educated, people who have, I said rich and poor, you know, like everybody makes quilts from coast to coast around the world. People make quilts. And when you really understand, right, when you start to understand, because I'm only starting to understand that quilts are a pathway to everything you ever wanted to know, world history, philosophy, art, fashion, all this stuff. Quilts provide this framework for you to learn about the whole world. And so for me, you know, looking in a little bit deeper to the quilt makers of Gee's Bend and what it was like when they started making quilts in the 1960s for these different department stores, I learn about the whole wide world when I look at quilts specifically. And so I just want to uncover what the deal is, you know? I want to look. And so, Padma, I'm going to start I don't know. I lost my train of thought. I'm not even supposed to be live right now. Okay. And Etracote says, Padma's suggestion is that you interview one or more of the women from Gee's Bend about this. Oh, 1,000%. And let's not, you know, I am, you know, I'm me, white lady, right? Talking about how upset I am about all this stuff. And I mean, that's who I am. That's all. I can't be anybody else. You know, I learn a lot about quilts, and I share with you what I know. I don't have quilt makers from Gee's Bend on this show yet. I'm not calling them up and piping them into this show. So I understand, you know, I'm the only one talking here. I completely get that. But I'm outraged, and I'm going to talk about it. Yeah, Amy. Oh, Amy. Amy referenced the show we did on Saturday night. Everybody should watch the replay. It was a great show. Agreed, Amy, 1,000%. Is it a gray Monday, Civvy Mac? I'm glad you're here. I just popped in. It's thrilling. I feel kind of, oof. Myra says, I just feel here we are yet again, quilters being used for profit while being othered by these privileged celebrities, you know, white or pseudo-white quilt saviors. Completely. I mean, it's weird, you know, it's just kind of weird. Okay, let's watch this video. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm just kind of getting caught up on the nerd community that I love so much. Is in the group quilting picture, are they cutting up their own quilts for the designer or making quilts in that picture? Good question. Wow. I mean, this is crazy. Wow. Oh my gosh. Well, Myra, I'm glad. I mean, I just couldn't believe it. Nicole Richie. Okay, I'm pausing on the chat. Let's watch this. I want people to know it's not just me spouting off. I mean, it's a lot of me spouting off, but it's also you all. Okay, pause. Nicole, spritz yourself and get, you know, get your robe tucked around you and you're on your settee. Y'all, I mean, I just couldn't believe it when I saw it, and I just went live. Okay, here we go. Ready? This is from Etsy. What is this from? Hang on. She's talking about this collection. All right, let's watch.
Yes, I just feel so lucky to be able to work with so many different.
She's so lucky. She is lucky. She was born to like a Lionel Richie. Pretty lucky.
Talented, diverse artisans. Learning how these things are.
Or she was adopted, whatever.
Made really.
That's like extra lucky. Okay. Oh, look, her wine.
Understanding the craftsmanship and the workmanship.
You see, if you came here and you're like, this is gonna be, and I was like, we're gonna watch a video. And then you're like, let's just watch the video. Stop talking. That's not what the show's about. The show is about, it's about this.
That goes into making each piece. It's just been something that's been very.
Who wants to bet $1,000 that those are not her hands? But you know how they edited that? It really looked like she was blowing the glass or making the soap, whatever.
Very special and personally inspiring to me. I I really wanted to collaborate with artisans to bring in some jewel tones, play with different fabrics, velvets, really get into the holiday spirit. California is my home. I'm born.
She has a right to live. She has a right to live. She has a right to be happy. It's cool. You know, if you think about people who are like super rich like that and like super blonde and super thin and super and like in Beverly Hills, they have a very different life, right? They're celebrities, whatever. They get their picture taken when they go outside. Like, they're weird. They have a weird life. My life is weird, but it's pretty standard weird, you know? Like, I don't know. They have a weird life in that sort of, I kind of think like I've met really rich people before, like really rich people. And it's like their feet kind of don't touch the ground because everyone does things for them, right? And so she's a person who people just do things for her, it seems. Probably, right? And so she's weird, man. She's weird. So she's like, I wanted to connect with artisans and pick jewel tones. And it's like, she really thinks that.
Born and raised here, and I wanted to support the arts within my community. It's important to me, and
she's authentic. She's quirky, but she's authentic. She's so real.
And to House of Harlow as a brand to celebrate diversity, and I wanted to share the stage with people from all different backgrounds. I did not know the story of Gee's Bend. I actually saw their quilts first. That is what got my attention.
Quilts first went. Okay, this is weird.
They were just so beautiful, intricate, one of a kind, incredible. What's so special about these quilts that I love is that we decided to work with House of Harlow deadstock fabric. When you open the quilts, you kind of get a little history in where House of Harlow has been and where it is now. I would definitely give these throw pillows to my dad because they actually just match his house, and I think that they would look good all year round.
Oh, Foff. Okay, Foff. Okay. Get that little, do you see that? You see that? All the quilters in the house are like,
I think that they would look...
Oh, no, it's Singer. Yeah, it's Singer. Of course. Okay, Singer.
Good all year round, and I feel like he does appreciate a good throw pillow.
Her dad appreciates a good throw pillow. So if you're looking for a gift for Lionel, I was like, if you're looking for a gift for Nicole Richie's dad, and then I was like, oh yeah, that's Lionel Richie. I mean, that's legit. I mean, I feel like she can mention her dad and it's cool. I was literally picturing like an old man with like socks pulled up to his knees, and maybe Lionel Richie, he is an old man, and maybe he has socks pulled up to his knees. I just forgot that was her dad. Okay. Wait.
Loves home design. I will definitely be gifting the dog beds to all of my friends with dogs.
Sorry. I'm just gonna catch up on the chat. They're not her hands, thank you. The background music. Myra's climbing the walls. Sujan, I mean, what does her house look like? Yes. Oh my God, is it fake snowing? Caitlin, did you just see that it's fake snowing out there? You need a new emoji. Yeah, you know, everybody who's a subscriber to this show for $4.99 a month. And can I just say, if you're new here, you should subscribe. Because if you subscribe for $4.99 a month, you don't have to watch any ads. And you support the work of your quilt nerd here who really does work really hard for this show. And you get to use all these cool emotes, which are like emojis. Twitch just has to be different. It's fine. And we have a bee emote for members. And so when you're really mad, you can use the bee emoji. You can put the bee in chat, you know, and that means that you got a bee in your bonnet, you know. Personally, I'm feeling the bees right now. Somebody get some bees in the chat. The Quilters, Mississippi Delta. Okay. Okay. Singer, heavy duty. It is a... Yeah, okay. You know it's real art when it matches your house. God, I love you people. I mean, hey, Robin's Nest, hi. Dog pillows to all her friends with dogs. Oh, yeah, it is a little snarky. A little shade. I know, that's the thing. Yes, thank you, Sue John. There are the bees. Yeah, her hands were just pushing some bits around. Oh, Nicole Richie has a tattoo on each wrist. Look out for them. Interesting. Oh, Carol, I love that. So, okay, there's 30 seconds left in this. Let's just give it a try. And okay. No, I'm getting mad on the internet. Okay, in general, this is a bad thing to do, but I am. Okay. Come on, Nicole, let's...
I've already gifted the dog beds to my dogs as an early Christmas present, and they like them. Having things that are handcrafted, handmade, give you that extremely personal touch. That's the feeling that I wanted to bring. That's what I felt like I could contribute. I think it's very special when you are gift giving.
That quilt is not attractive. I'm sorry. I don't care who made it. I don't care what kind of, feeling you're trying to impart. Whatever dead stock they're giving people, I'm sorry. Maybe you love it, and this is subjective, okay? Taste is up to the particular person who, maybe you're into it, and that's fine. No. What is this on the wall? Really? Yellow, pink, black, brown, and white. Sorry, they are capitalizing on the name. And again, if the people who are doing the project feel they are paid fairly and things are okay, I have nothing to say. It's none of my business, right? Yet, the capitalizing on the name is like, it's, but like this is not like, really, this is dead stock House of Harlow fabric from clothes that didn't sell or something. I don't know. It's just, it sucks. I'm sorry.
To make the person
That's my opinion.
feel
Just
like
my opinion.
You see them.
Does anybody want to comment? I mean, that's brown, that's yellow and green, that's black, that's zebra striped-ish, that's mauve, that's white or off-white, that's a geometric, that's a natural sort of print, that's a floral. It's a disaster. I'm sorry, it's a disaster. And that is not it doesn't matter who made it. Will Nicole Richie hang that on her wall? Ugh, I'm so annoyed. Yeah, it's disturbing, M. Sue John. I have really got to be on my
You really
bonnet.
want the...
Okay, all right, whatever. God, she's so imperious. Well, I'm a little imperious right now, too. I can cop to that.
The gift to feel personal. And I think that Etsy is the perfect place for that.
Do you know what? She's shaking her head no while she says that. I don't know if you've ever watched TED Talks about how to read people, what they really mean when they're saying no, I'm really what is it? Facial expressions. If someone's crossing their arms, no, I love it. But they're no, I love it. And they're mouths pointing down. They're you are amazing. You're just so amazing. But they're frowning while they're saying it. I think we have an example of this right here. Wait, whoa. Whoa, where'd you go? Whoa. What's going on? Where are you, Nicole? What's going on here? Okay. All right, calm down. Everybody calm down. Okay, all right. We're just going to see her say that she loves, she's so happy. And she's just I'm so happy with this collection. I love it so much. It's so good. And she's just I hate it.
To bring, that's what I felt like I could contribute. I think it's very special when you are gift giving to make the person feel like you see them. You really want the gift to feel personal. And I think that Etsy is the perfect place for that.
It isn't. I wanted to do Bergdorf Goodman, but it's just not on brand for them.
I just love the process. I just feel so lucky.
Oh, yeah, no, that's fine. We're good on it. Why? I'm never on Facebook. I'm really not, so I have no idea what's playing now. Okay, so the one other thing I wanted to say, and then, I mean, I should probably, oh look, I'm not even in my zone for the green screen. Okay, this quilt, by the way, behind me is Bertha Stange, 1940 something. See, with Quilt Nerd, always, I start every show with a quilt, wonderful quilt behind me, and we talk about it, and that's how the show starts. And I had to put up a quilt behind me before I went live, but that's not what this one's about. That's not what this show's about. Diobeb, it isn't G's Bend. Damn it. It might be, in name, but it's just, come on now. Anyway, yes, they're deer. They're gazelle. They're gazelle. Eat your coach. They're gazelle. Aren't they wonderful? Oh, they're so wonderful. Okay, we can talk about that quilt. So the thing I wanted to say, and this is a little bit risky, right? It's a little bit risky because you can see all of my... I was working on my lecture for the British Guild of the Quilters Guild of the British Isles tomorrow evening when all of this went down, and I just had to go live. But the last thing I'll say is just I'll point anybody who's here back to the episode where we talked about this. We talked about not Ralph Lauren, what's his name? Greg Lauren, yeah. We talked about his project, and what kind of arose in that whole discussion is that the reason that a lot of us were kind of bothered by this Bergdorf Goodman collab between Mr. Loren and the quilters down in Alabama is that, like, the reason it was cool, the reason it seems to be cool to Bergdorf or something, there's this implicit, inherent, sort of baked in high-low mix. And if you know some fashion kind of terms or whatever, what I perceive in this whole project, and what a lot of like Nicole Richie and her like holiday collection, like give to all your like best friends, like this like authentic quilt from the South. I mean, like there's just this kind of like, they're sort of forcing this high-low mix, which is like, like in London, like if you're like wearing diamond earrings and a beat up vintage leather jacket that's like falling apart, that's what you call like a high-low mix. And it's like, I can like wear diamonds, but I can also wear this like, vintage leather jacket from like Leeds or some, working class neighborhood. And it's like the people who do that, kind of like, and it's not like problematic in and of itself, whatever, but it's kind of like, if you have the money to be able to afford the diamond earrings, and you can do the leather jacket thing. I mean, it's hard to go from low to high. It's easier to go from like high to low, if that makes sense. I don't know. It's just a little intense to me to have like these clothes available at Bergdorf Goodman, and it's just dubious as to who's making money on it. And look, the world is big, we're all gonna die. You can't control things, and there's a lot of weird stuff that goes on, and in a lot of ways, in every way, really, it's none of my damn business. And I don't know 99% of what all of this is about, including like the Nicole Richie thing. I don't know about. But I do know what I've read, and I do know what I see, and I'm annoyed. That's all. That's it. That's all I got. It's very, very, very simple. It's very simple. And I had to come on and tell you, because what I love to do with you all is when I'm curious about something, when I'm learning something about quilts, I don't want to do it alone. I want to do it with you. Because you're nerdy too, and you love quilts too, and you know that quilts are so much more than what they appear to be. And what they appear to be is great. They appear to be covers for our bodies, and they appear to be beautiful examples of design or art. Which is it, right? Which do you think it is? It's very interesting. They appear to be simple, but they are very complicated, and they are very fascinating. And And when I first started making quilts, all I wanted to do was make them. And over the years, I stopped making them as much and started really looking at them in culture and in literature and in art and all of this. And it's just endless. It's just an endless fascination for me now. And I'm very, very grateful that I have quilts in my life. And so, I guess I'm streaming now on YouTube at the same time I'm streaming on Twitch, which is very exciting. If you've just dropped in, I'm gonna take off now because I'm not usually supposed to be here anyway. But oh, interesting, Padma. Greg Loren. Interesting. Yeah, appropriating it. Right, exactly. Yeah, eat your code. Anyway, so that's what happened tonight, is that I just got curious and I wanted to be with you while I was. And so if you're catching it on YouTube or Twitch or whatever, we do this. Usually I'm a little bit more, I have a lot more ready for you. We do all kinds of fun content 3 times a week, Tuesday and Thursday at 11 a.m. Central. I'm in London, so for me it's 5 p.m., so I have to do it kind of in the middle of the day. Otherwise, I turn into a pumpkin if it gets too late. Like now. It's almost 9 o'clock here in London. But Tuesday and Thursday at 11 a.m. and Saturdays at 4 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. for me. I take one for the team. I've thought about doing a stream at 3 a.m., so it's like 8 p.m. or something for some of you, but I don't think I can do it. But tomorrow at 11 a.m. The show will be shorter tomorrow. Usually we run about a couple hours, we hang out for a couple hours, sometimes more than that, to go through all the stuff and talk in the chat and hang out. Thank you, Myra. It's my pleasure. You know it. But tomorrow will be slightly shorter because I'm giving that big lecture to the Quilters Guild of the British Isles. And so that's how we got here. I was doing stuff, polishing up my talk, and I found Nicole Richie selling quilts from G's Bend on Etsy. Lord, what has the world come to? Some of them are $8,000. Go explore, my friends. Go enjoy. Quilts are they're everywhere. They are not just at quilt shows. They are not just at, your guild meeting. They are in fashion, and they are in pop culture, and they are in Etsy, and they're in Nicole Richie's bank account. So I'll see you tomorrow, and be a nerd. Be a nerd. Sit back, you made my day too. Woo! You're all the best. Chris, eat! Okay, I'll see you soon, and take care, and subscribe, become a member. If you have an Amazon Prime account, if you're an Amazon Prime member, you get 1 free Twitch subscription every month. You should use